Mic check here, 1 2 1 2, episode 10. No gruffs given. I want to start by talking to everyone about an opportunity. Okay, it's an opportunity that I think benefits both us, the No Gruffs Given podcast, and you, the listeners and/or viewers. All right, we have created an opportunity for. I don't want to categorize it as just birthday shout-outs. Okay. Any sort of shout out, congratulatory shout out. This is much different than Cameo. This isn't a 2-minute diatribe where I go on to roast and turn your life inside out. No, this is just a friendly, it really was inspired off of the No Agenda podcast, which I listen to religiously. Now, they're strictly a donation-based podcast. Now, as we've made the transition over to Action Park, we're still in the early phases. Ryan Rose, shout out Ryan Rose, to getting our advertiser dollars coming in on a more consistent basis, okay? So it's fine. We're giving him a little bit of time. But because of that, we want to open up a new revenue stream, all right? Because this isn't free. All right? I don't do this for the good of my health. Michael doesn't take Ubers everywhere because he doesn't have a car, also because he doesn't do this for the good of his health, all right? We're in the business. We're in the podcast business. So, at No Gruffs Given, that's a capital N, a capital G, and a capital G. So, at capital N-O, capital G-R-U-F-F-S, capital G-I-V-E-N. At No Gruffs Given is our Venmo. If you want to give somebody a special shout out, okay? A buddy, a birthday shout out, wife, wedding, Father's Day is coming up. You want to say that, tell the big guy, give him a shout out on the national podcast, No Gruffs Given. That's fine. You send a Venmo for $20. It's a $20 Venmo. Is that too much?
No.
Maybe we should do, we'll do 20. I was going to do 10, but the 10's too little. 20, okay? It's a $20 donation, and then you give me 2 sentences, all right? If you want to do the 2 sentences in bullet points and let me riff, I don't have a problem with that. But it's a quick little 2-sentence, hey, it's the big guy's birthday, it's the big guy's Father's Day coming up, whatever it is, graduation, hockey tryouts, doesn't matter. You can do it, and you're going to get featured. We're going to do a little segment on future episodes, okay? So, that being said, I want to start with sort of a depressing tweet, okay? A depressing tweet from our former president, Barack Obama. President Obama is building a massive compound in Martha's Vineyard. Life is good for the president. He lives in Hawaii. He got a lot of Spotify dollars that he didn't really need to do much for, all right? He decided to grace us with his presence after the Uvalde shooting, okay? We're going to get into the shooting a little bit more because as a parent, as a father, it pains me. Michael, as a father, it's a tough situation. President Obama, this is a real gem, okay? He says, as we grieve the children of Uvalde today, we should take time to recognize that 2 years have passed since the murder of George Floyd under the knee of a police officer. His killing stays with us all to this day, especially those who loved him. His killing stays with us all to this day? What does that mean? Let me read this again. As we grieve the children of Uvalde today, we should take time to recognize that 2 years have passed since the murder of George Floyd under the knee of a police officer. His killing stays with us all to this day, especially those who loved him. I don't understand his killing stays with us all to this day. Oh, okay, all to this day. Not the best writing.
Only 140 characters or whatever, so.
I don't think so. Is there still a law on that, a rule?
I feel like it.
Anyways, look that up,
Okay.
will you?
Mm-hmm.
So, what an amazing opportunity to remind us about George Floyd. Okay, and Black Lives Matter and the 100 million that they got in donations and the crazy. I know what happened to George Floyd, okay? I remember how I felt the moment after I saw the video. I can actually remember it vividly. All right. We were in the house in the West Village, still in New York City. I was fucking, I was, I was, I was shocked. Okay. And then I got angry. I know what that video did to me personally. Okay. I don't need our former president to somehow address the killing of 19 children with George Floyd. Really distasteful. I'm not sure who actually told him that would be a good idea. And if he thought that was a good idea on his own, it's disturbing. It's disturbing. I wouldn't vote for him, but this now, I've always thought that he was a smart guy. I always said, no matter what my position is, President Obama is a smart guy. He's great in front of the camera. This is one of the worst tweets I have ever seen. Talk about tone deaf. All right.
280 characters on Twitter. So they doubled it in 2017.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It shows how much I use Twitter.
I don't
We're
use it.
certainly not using 240 characters. Let's talk about Top Gun for a second before we get into the news roundup. And then we're going to get into some NHL hockey playoffs, okay? Top Gun. I guess I could say that I've been waiting for this movie for a long time. Definitely 3 years I've been waiting for this movie, all right? The original Top Gun, one of the greatest movie soundtracks ever made, okay? Kenny Loggins at his peak, awesome Kenny Loggins vibe, all right? It really was the 80s in a nutshell, okay? And I've been on a tear recently watching a lot of 80s movies, sort of anticipating the return of Top Gun. So I went with my buddy Nick, who just got engaged, Mazel Tov. We went to TLC Theater in Hollywood, Mann's Chinese Theater, all right? We get in there, and quick little side note, 2 guys got kicked out of the movie. They work as tour guides. You know, the guys that annoy you on the streets of Hollywood trying to sell you tickets to the tour guides on the buses. They were obliterated drunk, all right? They started the movie by cheering and going crazy, and everyone sort of thought it was a little cool and campy, like, man, these guys are really excited. 15 minutes in, they had a standoff with 3 security guards, and you'll be happy to know that I was about 15 rows back, and all the people in the theater were afraid of these guys, with the exception of the security guards, who were also a little bit scared. I got up out of my seat, and I went down, and I sat directly behind them, and I just sat there, okay? And one of the guys turned around, and he looked at me, and it was a moment when the lights, it sort of brightened the theater off of the screen, and he looked at me, and he looked at his buddy, and he asked his buddy if he could see my hands. I thought that was a very interesting observation coming from this guy. These guys were smashed, annihilated, wobbling, couldn't stand up without leaning over each other. It was a standoff, all right? I didn't do anything. I kept my cool. I was simply there as backup. If I needed to help diffuse the situation, I was there, all right? Did I try and intimidate these 2 gentlemen? Absolutely. Okay. Was I planning on it getting escalated? No. I think I had a good face, I think my presence was enough to deter. Okay. So I've taken a step in the right direction. All right. So I can't say too much about the movie because, first of all, Jerry Bruckheimer is a legend. All right. I don't think anyone makes better movies than Jerry over the last 30 years, collectively. Like the body of work, right? He makes an unbelievable blockbuster. So I'm not going to say that I disliked the movie, okay? I did dislike the movie personally, all right? I thought that they missed an incredible opportunity. The gunfights, the gun battle, the fucking sequences in the jet fighters, all right, were some of the most incredible. It made the original Top Gun look like the original Top Gun. Okay, they had the IMAX cameras inside the cockpits. It was awesome. The maneuvering, unbelievable. Because it was so incredible, the sequences and the gun battles. What is the What is the version called when you're battling in the air? A dogfight. The dogfights were out of this world. Okay, because of that, I think that they could have made the story much more leaner and meaner. And all they needed to do was rely on these dogfights to give us our satisfaction, because that's what we're there to see. All right. We don't have a young Goose, Anthony Edwards. We don't have a young Val Kilmer, AKA Iceman. We don't have the luxury of having those guys, but we still have Tom, and Tom is still moving at a pretty good rate. All right. They forced in, I think, a love situation with Jennifer Connelly. The music, okay, they had Hans Zimmer score this movie, Top Gun, Maverick, all right? I don't know if this is the first time Hans Zimmer has ever scored a movie where there's also been contemporary music alongside it. Michael, if you could look that up, maybe we could find that information. I'm not sure. But it was disappointing, okay? You have Hans Zimmer and you don't use him to his full special gifted powers. That disappoints me, all right? All in all, I didn't stay till the end. I knew exactly what was going to happen. I said to my buddy Nick, this guy's going to come back. He's going to fight the battle for them. He's going to save them, yada, yada, yada. All right? There wasn't one moment outside of the dogfights that excited me. There was a lot of callbacks, the volleyball game. It was a disappointment. Now, it's doing gangbuster numbers. All right. I think it's Tom Cruise's one of his biggest movies ever. The theater was full. I'm excited about that because I think Jerry is a legend and he's done a lot for this business. I'm also excited because that means people are out and they're back in the theaters and they're not worried. I was in a theater in California and I didn't see anyone wearing a mask watching the movie. Okay. So all in all, that's a good sign. It's Memorial Day weekend. Well, today is Monday, okay? I want to start actually with one other thing. I want to read a tweet, one more tweet by the great Senator Kennedy, okay? Senator Kennedy is one of my favorite senators. He puts out this statement. He says, President Biden gave Americans 3 $600 stimulus checks. And then for his next trick, he crashed their 401ks and increased their gasoline bills by $800, their food bills by $3,000, and their rent by $2,000 a month. And that's why most Americans, at least on the economy, would right now not trust the Biden administration to properly open a PayPal. It's economic illiteracy. It's astounding. Okay? I agree. All right? We're going to talk about Uvalde. Okay, we just sent $40 billion to Ukraine. You imagine we took $1 billion of that and we said, for the next 4 years, we're going to make sure that there's an armed guard in every school in America. I mean, at this point, why not? You know, I know there's teachers in Texas that are strapped. There's teachers that come to work with their sidearms. I don't mind that, okay? They looked, like I don't mind that, all right? What I would rather see, though, I would rather see a military-trained man or woman assigned to every single school who has a gun and or guns protecting our children. I don't have a problem with that. Just take $1 billion out of the 40 we sent there, which actually ended up being around 50 or 52. Take $1 billion of that 50 plus, and we solve the problem. Now, we're not going to solve the problem of crazy kids, crazy young men going into schools and trying to kill children. We're not going to be able to solve that problem because making guns illegal isn't going to stop that from happening. And you're always going to have some disturbed people that were teased or didn't have a father in the home. There's a million reasons why we're not going to be able to stop that. But if you have somebody who's trained, a military grade training individual who has a gun and or guns on them, I'd say we're going to cut that down dramatically. Okay? So I'm okay with that. There's 23 people shot as of right now. 23 people have been shot in New York City this weekend. That's a pretty high number. I mean, 23 people shot over the course of a weekend, that's high. Not to be outdone by Chicago, where 21 people have been shot and there's 4 dead on Memorial Day weekend in Chicago. So 2 Democrat-led cities, okay? I guess New York is tough on guns, not really tough on crime, though. So when you're tough on guns, but you're not tough on crime, that's it's like an oxymoron. You can't really be tough on guns if you're not tough on crime, which means if somebody's caught with a gun in New York City, they don't actually get punished the way that they probably should based on the way that the law is written, okay? Because we have these crazy Democratic judges who think that law and order is a different idea from the majority of us Americans, okay? Who want to pay our taxes and be safe, who want to pay our federal taxes, our state taxes, and know that we can send our children to school and they're not going to get shot at school, that we can walk the streets, that we can work hard every single day and buy a nice watch and go out to dinner and not worry that we're going to get followed home by 2 criminals that rob us in our driveway. I'm using these examples because they're happening every single day. They're happening every single day. They're happening in Los Angeles. They're happening in New York, okay? That's what I expect, but, who am I to say that that is a reality? President Trump is campaigning. President Trump held a rally in Wyoming that set the record for the biggest crowd in state history in Wyoming. What does that mean? Well, I think it means that there's a red wave coming, okay? Do I think that red wave is going to be followed by law and order? You got something there, Michael?
Nope.
Oh, I thought you were. I'm not sure. I hope so. All right. We're seeing this big divide between how do we determine whether a Republican is a America First Republican or a Republican that caters to some other category of Republicans. And it's incredible that we're now talking about presidential nominees being America First, right? Like, isn't that what we should always be thinking? America first? Everything should be America first. How do we help us, Americans, prosper? How do we help every single person in this country become smarter, stronger, healthier? That's a question that I'd like to pose. There was one thing that I wanted that got me thinking about that. God, I can't remember. But I let me come back to something. I want to read you about the gun laws in Japan. I found this very interesting, okay? These are all the steps that need to be taken to be able to purchase a firearm in Japan. And by the way, I'm pro Second Amendment. I think that every American should have the right to own a gun legally, okay? So that means that if you live in a state where you can own a gun legally, but it can only be kept in your home, then that's the law. If you are in a state that has open carry restrictions, meaning you can't carry a gun on you, or you are allowed to carry a gun, I'm for that. Okay, I'm for whatever the state laws say, right? But I am for Americans being able to have the freedom to own a gun, right? I'm not like, you can't take people's guns away, okay? People use guns to hunt, to target practice, for their own personal protection. So this is what they do in Japan. They make you take a firearm class and pass a written exam, which is held up to 3 times a year. Get a doctor's note saying you are mentally fit and do not have a history of drug abuse. Apply for a permit to take firing training, which may take up to a month. Describe in a police interview why you need a gun. Pass a review of your criminal history, gun possession record, employment, involvement with organized crime groups, personal debt, and relationships with friends, family, and neighbors. I don't necessarily like the personal debt aspect about it because, anyways, apply for a gunpowder permit, all right? Take a 1-day training class and pass a firing test. Obtain a certificate from a gun dealer describing the gun you want. If you want a gun for hunting, apply for a hunting license. Buy a gun safe and an ammunition locker that meet safety regulations. Allow the police to inspect your gun storage. Pass an individual background review. Buy a gun. Some people might say that is ludicrous, all right? That's not what the Second Amendment says, okay? Maybe, but I guess that means that I'm not some crazy fucking lunatic radical. Like, I do think that everyone should be allowed to have guns, but we should have rules around them, all right? And, you know, I also think that if more people had guns, like take Florida as an example, right? Florida has this law, can you look up what it's called, where if you attack somebody and they have a gun on them, they are legally allowed to shoot you.
Yeah, it's the fear for your life, or it's
I like that rule. There's got to be some little name for it. I think that's a great rule. Okay, you know, does that mean that because that rule's in place, more people are going to buy guns, and that's going to raise the chances of having some lunatic go into a school? Well, I already, in my mind, solved the school issue. We'll take $1 billion and we'll put 2 military trained individuals in schools. Not 1 now, let's put 2. 1 on each end of the school, okay? But I like that law. What's it called?
justifiable use of force.
Justifiable use of force, all right? There was a video that's been doing the rounds the last couple of days of an incident at the subway station in New York City, okay? There's three men, all right? One of the men is holding an Asian man, okay? Did you see the video?
No.
So there's 3 guys. One of the guys is holding this Asian guy. And from what I'm hearing, and I saw the long cut of the video, and I heard the Asian man saying things that essentially he was admitting to, he tried to touch a girl forcibly on a train, okay? 2 of the guys proceed to basically beat the shit out of him. One guy's holding him, the other guy smacks him, knocks the Asian man out, and the other 2 are like, one of the other guys is using this guy as a punching bag, okay? Now, do I think law and order should be handled that way? No. It took 20 minutes for any cops to show up, all right? Mayor Adams said the subway was the safest it's ever been, okay? If a guy tries to molest a female on a train and essentially men have to perform a citizen's arrest and it takes 20 minutes for the cops to show up, I question how safe the subways are. There's been so many videos coming out of New York of insanity on public transportation that, like, every single day there's a new one. It's exploding there. People are going crazy in New York City. That's no secret, all right? Do I think you should be able to take it into your own hands to that extent? Listen, what I want is for us to just be safe. I want us to not even have to have this conversation. I want there to be law and order. I want the billions of dollars that get spent on police and police forces to be used. I want police to be able to do their job without fear of whatever it is. And, you know, a lot of this does fall on the cops' backs, okay? Because I hear people say, well, yeah, I don't blame them. You know what I mean? They're afraid to do anything. I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's kosher. If you sign up to be a police officer, you should understand the rules and the regulations and what you're allowed to do based on the law. And if somebody breaks the law, then you do what you need to do to either arrest them or take them into custody. Okay? This whole system's broken. So don't be a cop if you're not going to do the job, because we're the ones that are paying for you to do your job. All right? We're not the ones that are paying for you to now say, my hands are tied, I can't do the job. No, do the job. You have a powerful union that's going to protect you, all right? Because we need it now. The people of this country need to be safe. And safety is a major issue in every city, but primarily these Democrat-run cities. Lori Lightfoot, she wants to defund the police. She's got 21 people shot this weekend and 4 are dead in Chicago. I mean, that's a big number.
The Florida statute also is known as stand your ground. That's
Stand your
probably what you were thinking
Stand
of.
your ground. Big news out of Canada today. Prime Minister Trudeau has put forward a national freeze on handgun ownership. He's capping the market. Canada is a runaway train right now. Canada Trudeau is a communist, and he's essentially turning Canada into a communist country. I'm not exaggerating, all right? What a wily move, okay? How do you start the process? Well, we start it by saying we're capping handguns. There's X amount of handguns that we know of legally in this country, and there's going to be this many allowed purchased over the next 5 years. And then what's going to happen? Slowly, that 5 years is going to come up, and they're going to say, all right, we're done. We were nice. We capped it at first. Now you can't buy handguns anymore, okay? Which is what happened in Australia. And I'm by no means a gun expert. I don't own a gun. Although I'm getting close to buying one, okay? I'm on the verge. The only reason I haven't bought one yet is that it's about a 50-minute drive to get out of LA to be able to buy one. That's the only reason I haven't gotten the car, and I need to do it. I'm also a little bit nervous. There's a part of me that's a tiny bit nervous about having a gun in the house. Although I've been doing some research on these gun safes and now the biometrics, fingerprint scans, the only way you can open these things. Still, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, right? I'm not guns don't excite me. I'm not excited by the idea of owning a gun or ever carrying a gun, all right? But Trudeau, that's the first step, okay? They also just had a vote to end pandemic travel restrictions. So that's still going on in Canada, by the way. And what it's causing, it's a ripple effect, all right? They have, I don't know, God knows how many flights are being canceled, delays because they don't have enough pilots, they don't have enough flight attendants, the vaccination. That country is falling apart. And you see this guy, this bozo, get up there, and how anyone in that country believes him blows my mind. How has 80% of the country not said, you know what, he's got to go? And they have all these weird rules, these snap elections, and they have an election, but he's not really, I don't even understand it. You have an election, he's elected the prime minister, and he has control over the country for the next 4 years. That's the way it should be, but it's not. And, it's a lot of hyperbole what's coming up. I see all these guys, Pierre Poilievre, whatever his name is. He's going to take Conservative Party to the finish line. This guy. He's going crazy. Housing crisis, the prices, yada, yada. He didn't vote. They had the vote on ending pandemic restrictions. He was absent for the vote. So this is the guy that's saying, hey, I'm going to be the conservative leader. I'm going to fix this country. And the guy doesn't vote to end it's not that he voted no, he just didn't vote. So that's what you're dealing with up north, and I feel for you. President Biden, he had a couple of beauties this weekend. He said, today we remember freedom is worth the sacrifice. Democracy is not perfect. It's never been good. Now, he said it's never been good. He said good by accident, It was a Freudian slip, okay? He goes, today we remember freedom is worth the sacrifice. Democracy is not perfect. It's never been good. These slips happen I can't keep up. They happen on a daily basis. This guy is deteriorating so fast in front of our eyes. This is the leader of the free world, all right? And now it seems like everyone's turning on him, but we're not really doing anything about it. Nancy Pelosi's husband got a DUI this morning. Was it this morning?
I don't know. I didn't hear that.
Yes, for 11:30 at night, and he was in jail till 4:30 in the morning. And she released a statement saying that she was on the East Coast. Basically, she just said, I wasn't there, I was on the East Coast. Probably wouldn't have happened if I was there. Who knows? All right. Everything is in shambles right now. He also said, Joey B. Hey, my pop said to me, Joey, I can just, the guy is a piece of work. But he said 9mm bullets blow the lungs right out of your body. I'm trying to read it because you can't. He said 9mm bullets blows the lung out of a body. All right. That means that the lung would actually open, your carcass would open up and the lung would get blown out of your body. I mean, when you're president, and by the way, Trump said things that would be in the similar vein as, and I'm saying Trump would exaggerate his point. Biden says this, and I'm not sure if he's trying to lie to us or if he actually doesn't know what he's saying. That's the difference. Like I got what Trump's angle was, and I hate it. I wish he would just be matter of fact, because I think universally he'd be a lot more loved. But Biden just makes these crazy, crazy statements, okay? And it really bothers me. Were you looking at something over there, Michael?
No, I was actually going to pull up Donald Trump's latest tweets.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Out of curiosity.
Well, Governor Newsom's been up to it too, okay? So he's currently being sued, okay? There's a lawsuit against Newsom to end the state of emergency. California, we're still in a state of emergency, which means that gives him authority over some of these pandemic rules that he put into place. So he's being sued, okay? We've got a copy of the deposition. He had to answer a few questions under oath, all right? Question number 1, identify the objective criteria you are relying on to determine when to end the COVID state of emergency. Newsom's response, defendant declines to respond to this interrogatory. Okay. Number 2, identify any standards provided by the California legislator that you have relied on to determine when to end the state of emergency. What do you think he said? Defendant declines to respond to this interrogatory. It goes on and on. He just declines to respond. All right. Zero accountability. Zero accountability in any of these people that you voted for to put into power. California also, okay? Newsom, this is what he says. Newsom said after meeting with several water agencies, we're short on water in California. I mean, if you get on a tall enough building, actually, no. If I walk out of my house to my out on the road and it's a clear day, I can see the ocean. We're attached. We run alongside an ocean, okay? We're about to go into some sort of a drought fucking water shortage. So Newsom told water suppliers and water associations to begin getting aggressive at telling consumers to help do their part in protecting the Golden State's water supply. The state is asking Californians to do the following from their statement to save water. Limiting outdoor watering. Cutting back by even just 1 day a week can save you up to 20% more water. So I don't ask for a lot of things in life, okay? I try and wake up every single day and work as hard as I can, 9 to 5, whatever it is, right? I'm trying to build a career, trying to be a good husband, a good dad, take care of my family. one of the things that I enjoy, one of the finer things in life that I enjoy going outside in my flip-flops, turning the hose on, and washing my driveway. It's one of the greater enjoyments I have in life. I love to wash my driveway. Now, outside of the fact that Hillary only allows me to do it a couple of times, maybe once a week, she said I'm allowed to do it now because of the water bill, right? That's fine. She's my wife. Happy life. I get that. But for the state, for the governor of California, when I can see an ocean from the fucking road in front of my house, tells me that we're in a water drought, I get upset, okay? A man can't go outside, he can't clean his own fucking driveway now because of mismanaged water supply in the state of California, all right? What else does he say? He's got a couple other things he tells me. Hold on, I'll get to it right here. Taking shorter showers, all right? You might be a person that really, hard day's work, you love to just go an extra minute or two in the shower. Fucking treat yourself. Shoot me, all right? I like to take a long shower. I pay the bill. It's not like I'm trying to get out of the bill. No, I'm a happy customer. I'll pay for that water. Just let me enjoy my fucking shower. No, taking shorter showers, going to a 5-minute shower to save up to 12.5 gallons per shower when using a water-efficient shower head. Taking showers instead of baths. So if you're a lovely lady out there who likes to decompress in a bath, no more baths for you, okay? Baths use 2.5 times the amount of water as a shower. What about kids? What should we do with all the kids out there? I guess I got to tell Nash tonight, you know what? No more bath time. We're not going to work on counting and the alphabet and our fucking number games and all that fun jazz because you got to take a shower now, kid. All right? Yeah, you got to take a shower. Governor Newsom said you got to take a shower using a broom instead of a hose to clean outdoor areas to save 6 gallons of water every minute. Who's going to buy the fucking broom? Let me ask you that, all right? Why don't you send everybody in California a broom like you sent everybody in California a couple of masks? Why don't you give us that courtesy? I'll broom. Send me the fucking broom, Gavin. I can't wait to see Gavin Newsom. I just want to see him somewhere. I just want to tell him I just want to go, what do I say to him? I'm going to say something that I'm not going to say here but I'll say something and he'll feel it. All right. I got a knack for that. Washing full loads of clothes to save 15 to 45 gallons of water per load. So that's what we're dealing with here. I'm on a roll. I want to just keep going from these reading these things. There's a director by the name of Werner Herzog. Okay. Werner Herzog, he's a talented man. All right. By the way, the Tom Sachs all-purpose shoe is being released at Mass on June 10th. That means everyone is going to have the ability to buy pairs of the new Tom Sachs utility shoe, okay? His previous iterations of his Mars Yard shoes are arguably the most in-demand sneakers in the history of the sneaker game. I mean, they're worth more than Jordan 1s in some cases. Find a shoe. I mean, a pair of Mars Yards in size 10, that's a $15,000 shoe on eBay. So now you're going to be able to get the general purpose shoe. I talked to Tom on the weekend. I think that he's going to have a brand as big of Jordan because there's a huge, these Yeezys. Listen, if you're still a grown man who's walking around in a pair of Yeezys, you got to look yourself in the mirror and go, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I have to reassess everything, all right? I have to look deep down in my soul and say, are you old enough to be wearing these shoes? Are you too old to be wearing? Not old enough. No one is old enough. No one, but you are too old. If you walk out of the house with a pair of Yeezys on now and you are over the age of 16, you got problems, all right? You need to reevaluate everything. Speaking of shoes, Paul Bissonnette's shoes on the broadcast, were we watching the game together?
Yeah.
He sent me a text bragging about how they're Ferragamos. You know, I don't care who makes the fucking shoe. I don't care what brand. I don't care what shoe. I don't care if it's pleather. If the shoe looks good, it looks good, okay? If the shoe is warped and it's square-toed and it's all busted up and the fucking laces aren't fresh and crispy, you got a busted shoe. I don't care if they're Ferragamos or whatever the hell they are, all right? The shoe game is important. So we've got this extraordinary opportunity from Tom. Werner. Okay, let's read this because it's just dead on. I think you're going to get a little chuckle. He writes a review about Trader Joe's. Madness reigns. The first challenge your soul must endure is the parking lot. You wait with your vehicle, half blocking traffic, creating a perfect circular vortex of anger that encompasses the street and the entrance to the store. Once you attain access to the lot, you discover that this is a false achievement. Other motorists stop and start with no apparent thought or plan. Turns once begun are quickly abandoned, the driver seemingly immune to geometry. At last, a space opens up, but the price is having to enter the store. Inside, human beings scramble like beetles whose rock has been upended. Though the aisles are wide, it is impossible to avoid physical contact with your fellow shoppers. It is a grotesque parody of the bazaar at Marrakesh. As if dumb animals had been granted only the amount of sentience required to mock humanity. The aisles are not labeled. You must search for every item. The constant walking up and down causes a numbness that borders on profound despair. Your conscious mind registers merely annoyance, impatience, but on a cellular level, your body cries out in weakness. The fatigue you feel is a warning. Millions of years of evolution trying to save you from becoming mired in the tar, from sinking into the warm blackness and ultimately being reclaimed by the earth itself. I mean, well said, a little over the top, okay? Definitely a little aggressive, but I see where he's coming from, all right? I totally see where he's coming from. I want to talk about hockey, but I got a few more things I want to get off my chest, okay? 244 U.S. counties. There are 244 U.S. counties where there's more registered voters than people eligible to vote. There's 29 states have counties with more registered voters than legal residents. 8 states have more registered votes than actual voting age people, okay? That is from updated census reports. To me, that seems like we have a problem on our hands. Billionaires, according to Oxfam, added $5 trillion to their portfolios. So while good, hardworking American people's stores were shut down, their businesses were lost. You know, we so quickly forget, right? How long ago was it? A year ago? Hardworking families who are now have a bankruptcy on their hands, who lost their businesses because of this fucking scam, all right? This scam. While the elite, the mega rich, they added $5 trillion to their portfolios. I talked about Top Gun earlier. I'm feeling good, right? Here's where I'm feeling, okay? And it's not I'm not doing it on purpose. I've immersed myself into movies because I was talking to Hillary the other day and we're talking about planning, maybe planning a vacation, Nash's birthday. We want to go to, there's this hotel in California in Big Sur, Ventana. I think it's Ventana. Yeah, I think it's Ventana. Anyways, they have a glamping portion of the hotel because to stay at the hotel, no kids are allowed at the hotel, but they allow kids in their campground. They have 19 glamping tents. And I really want to fucking reserve a glamping tent. I want to go glamping with Nash and Hillary because we'll never go camping. We just don't, I don't have the faculties, the facilities. I don't have the wherewithal, okay? If anyone knows anyone associated with Ventana, I would love to get a tent for a week in August. That would be an incredible gesture if you could help me. That would be amazing. That being said, okay, we're trying to plan something. And Hillary's like, well, what week? And I'm kind of hemming and hawing. And she looks at me and says, I know what you're thinking. And I said, what? She goes, you don't want to book anything because you feel you have a pretty good feeling that, you know, you're going to be gone. And I said, yeah, I do. It's at the tip of my tongue. I can taste it. Okay. This next step, this next stepping stone, it's about to happen. I'm on the precipice of it happening. All right. I just nailed in an unbelievable self-tape today for Yellowstone. Yellowstone is starting to shoot. I believe the cast and the crew, I believe they're starting to shoot. Okay. I've auditioned for Yellowstone. This is my 6th or 7th audition. This is the perfect role. It's so funny because I look at all the other roles and like, this is the perfect role. And I'll tell you why. Because in the casting notes, it said, this is a series regular, right? But essentially, we don't know how much this character is going to be in the show. It's going to be based on whether or not Taylor and the team like the character. If they like the character, they'll probably write him into more, all right? That's the type of opportunity I'm looking for, and it's so perfect. And I actually believe in my heart, 100%, that I'm going to get this role, okay? I told you about that Boreas Salming project in Canada. I booked that.
You did?
Yeah, it starts in September.
Great, congratulations.
September to December. I think it goes to Sweden to shoot for a little bit. I don't think I'll ever step on the ice for that project because I think I'll be on something bigger. All right. And I don't feel bad about saying that because I just know it's about to happen. Anyway, so I lock in this it's fucking just a great self-tape. I actually might, you know, I would put it in this episode, this audition in this episode, but I can't really do that because anyways, at some point I will. When I book the role, I'll let everybody see the audition. I'm living and breathing this shit. All I've been watching is the commentaries, movie commentaries. So like 10 years after a movie comes out, 5 years after a movie comes out, now they're doing it when the movie comes out. They'll do a director commentary where the director talks along to the movie and tells you all the behind the scenes, the interesting choices, what happened there, how we got that shot. That was luck. I've watched The Godfather. I've watched Uncut Gems. I've watched Silence of the Lambs, Raging Bull, all this weekend. I've done like 10 hours of this watching. It's fucking fascinating. It's in my bones, all right? It's in my bones and I can feel it and it's exciting. I think, Kyle Rittenhouse just got $22 million from The View. Did you see that?
No.
He sued The View. He's suing everybody for defamation. They paid him $22 million. This kid's gonna get $100 million from everybody. He's got a $22 million $22 million is coming to him as a settlement. So his lawyer's he's gonna put 3 or 4 in his pocket. He's just put $4 million in his pocket, buy a house, retire. I mean, you couldn't fucking be happier, right? Couldn't be happier for anyone that gets falsely accused of something. They should be rewarded. Johnny Depp's he's gonna have his name cleared. At No Gruffs Given is the Venmo. If you want a birthday shout out, whatever it is, doesn't matter. You go to at No Gruffs Given. It's a $20 donation, and you'll be featured on the show in a new segment, which I think brings us to hockey. I had some other stuff. It took the cops 77 minutes to go into the school in Uvalde until a Border Patrol agent and 2 others said, fuck it, we're going to disobey the stand down and we're going in and we're going to kill this guy. 77 minutes, okay? You know, I don't know. And I have this love-hate relationship with cops because I hate cops that don't do their job. All right? I hate anyone that doesn't do their job. Hate's a strong word. I don't respect people that don't do their job. If you try and cut corners, I don't respect you. If you don't put 100% into what you do, I don't respect you. I have a problem. All right? I'm trying to turn that into empathy, but that's a longer conversation for another day. Spreads.ca, episode 10, brought to you by our friends at Spreads.ca. Okay? This world of betting, it's an animal. It's a beautiful. I look at it as like an opportunity, like a wolf. Okay, if you want to put the work in and you want to do the homework and you want to understand the game that you're betting on, I think you can do it. Like I look at some of the odds and I'm not a bettor, right? But I go to spreads.ca and I open it up and I go, I'm looking at that right now going, all right, the odds payout, it's a 185 payout if both teams score 2 or more goals. I go to myself, this is a lock. It's a fucking lock. I won the bet. All right. If you put your homework in and you don't try and take big fucking home runs, slams, grand slams, chip away at it, you put a little juice on a game, and you can make money while you watch games. All right, you got to be prepared to lose a little bit, but honestly, if you do your homework and you bet smart at spreads.ca, you're going to have an opportunity to have fun, enjoy yourself, raise the stakes as you're watching the game, and put a little bit of money in your account that you then transfer into your bank account. And at spreads.ca, it's seamless. So we want to thank them for being a title sponsor for today's show. Let's get to hockey because I got a lot. What are we on time?
We're about 52, 53 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, we have a big Game 5 tonight.
Game 7.
Game 7. Myself and Michael have been streaming the Rangers series, which has led me to have actually disgust for both teams. I am disgusted by both the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers. I can't stand either of their coaches. All right. Gerard Gallant. Ryan Reeves is playing averaging 9 minutes a night. He has 1 assist.
Yeah.
He has 1 assist over the course of the playoffs. Playoff minutes are they're like a Sunday after supper. Like, they're not, it's the world's greatest delicacy, playoff minutes, okay? You're supposed to take those playoff minutes, turn that into an opportunity, and produce, okay?
No points.
He's got no points.
He has 0 points.
All right.
He has 2 penalty minutes. It was 1 penalty that he had.
Yeah, you were like, oh, maybe if he had a 5-minute in there. Michael, nobody fights in the playoffs. We're not here to intimidate through our fists. We're here to play mind games. If we got to get dirty physically, we'll do that. But it's whatever it takes to win. You got to be able to skate, all right? The fact that Gerard Gallant plays Ryan Reeves 9 minutes a night, I can't wrap my fucking head around it. You're hurting your team. There's 0 reason. You think he's a good cheerleader? I'm not even going to try and justify it because there's no justifying it. It's just the worst decision. If you make that decision, you don't know how to coach. Rod Brindamore, okay? Antti Ranta is starting tonight's Game 7, you said.
That's what's been announced. Puck drops in about 25 minutes, so we'll see.
So last game, he starts the game, right?
Yeah.
Anderson was supposed to play. He wasn't ready.
They just keep dangling that out there.
He lets in 2 shit goals right off the bat.
Yeah.
And he doesn't pull them. Okay?
Yeah.
We're streaming it on Patreon.
You were losing your mind right after that first goal, Tyler Mott. I mean, that was just,
I said after that, pull him.
Yeah.
Like, you let in one soft one like that, fuck it. Let's stop the bleeding. You got a young Russian kid who's a backup. What can you lose at this point? You can't lose anything. You got another game to go home, Game 7, and close it. Get the kid in there. Try and win this game tonight, and we don't have to go home. He didn't. He lets in a 3rd soft goal, okay? He pulls them. That kid comes in. He lets in a goal. It's a shit show. I hate both those teams.
I hated the commentary or the question on the bench in between play where
Emily Kaplan asks Rod Brindamore
what he was thinking about the pulling Ronta in that moment.
Yeah,
and Ronta's sitting directly in front of him.
So I don't necessarily have a problem with her asking the question because the kid's sitting there. Because we do know we were watching the game. The kid was pouting on the bench
The whole time.
He had this fucking pout. Well, how do you say his name?
Auntie Ronta.
Ronta?
Yep.
There's an N in it?
Yeah, Rantta.
Okay, so Auntie Ronta. He gets pulled. He sits on the bench for the remainder of the game with a fucking pouty ass, baby face, pissed off, grumpy fucking look on his face. Okay? He looked like an asshole, first of all right? I can't stand him. I don't have a problem with her asking the question because he had that face. But it's a stupid question. And she asked the worst questions ever. They all ask the worst questions. Who's going to win tonight? Honestly, I don't care. And here's why I don't care. Because whoever plays the Tampa Bay Lightning, who, by the way, have been relaxing for the last week in Florida, probably playing golf, Braden Point's getting healed, okay? I know what his injury is. He will be back for the Stanley Cup Finals. He's not going to be available for this round, but he will be back for the finals. The Tampa Bay Lightning are going to body bag the New York Rangers or the Carolina Hurricanes. They cannot compete with them. When you have Ryan Reeves playing 9 minutes a night on your third line, good luck to you playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Can we go through their lineup just to remind everyone? Well, who's their third line?
So Reeves is playing on the fourth line.
Okay.
But do you want to talk about Tampa's
He's
third
playing
line?
9 minutes a night. I've never, some teams, for a fourth line to be playing 9 minutes a night,
Yeah.
you better have a fucking hell of a fourth line. And who's the Rangers' fourth line? It's Reeves, that bum Rooney, who they scratched.
They scratched, put Barclay Goudreau back in.
Because he's back from
injury, game one against Pittsburgh, and Tyler Mott.
Yeah, and by the way, Tyler Mott crying on national television after the game, dedicating the goal he scored to his fiance's grandmother. I mean, God bless you, kid. I don't know how close he was to his fiance's grandmother, but if you go back and watch it, it questioned whether that would be a guy that I would want to go to war with. That's all I'm saying. I'm thinking Braveheart, Mel Gibson. This guy's crying. He's crying. Like, he's fucking visibly upset. And it wasn't tears. It didn't look like tears of joy. It looked like he was still crying upset. Dedicated the goal, or that drove him to be able to score the goal. His fiance's like, I don't need anyone to die, okay, to get me excited to score a fucking playoff goal in Madison Square Garden. Let me tell you that right now. I don't need my fiance's grandmother to die to give me the juice to get out there and play for the greatest fans of the game at Madison Square Garden. I don't. I have no interest in doing that, okay? But he did, and it's disturbing, Carolina has Sebastian Aho. He has 1 point on the road.
Yeah, just his first road point in this year's playoffs came last game by way of assist.
Yeah, so you're an NHL. Well, you're an NHL. You're a superstar per se.
He's playing 20 to 25 shifts a game, and he's not showing up on the score sheet.
Yeah. So you know who's a gamer? Nazem Kadri, who goes in to Florida on the road. No, who did they play?
The St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, goes into St. Louis, scores a hat trick.
Yeah.
I don't like the death threats. Did we talk about this last week?
We didn't.
So
we talked about the fact that that they happened. But
I guess
when we
he
tuned
reported it.
Yeah, when we tuned into the next game, all of a sudden Colorado has signs like "Stand with Nas." And
Yeah,
it was
yeah. Listen, all that nonsense. If Kadri reported it to the NHL, I think that's a little bit of a. I mean, relax, bro. Every player gets death threats. They're trolls on fucking on Instagram, okay? But what I am saying is he's a gamer. He comes in, he plays the big time games. Big time players play big time games, and he puts his money where his mouth is because he's a superstar. All right, so you're going to have either of these teams. Pick the Rangers. Let's take the Rangers against Tampa from a matchup standpoint. Okay, Shesterkin's great. I have a problem with the big windmill glove saves that he does when the puck's getting shot wide. He does it all the time. Watch the games. He does it a lot he catches shots that are going wide, and he'll do the big windmill glove save. It's weird. All right, I'll take Andrei Vasilevsky against Shesterkin any day of the week. Vasilevsky had Michael. What was his? He had the best save percentage ever in a series last round.
Yes, and finished the series after a sweep with a shutout, 49 save shutout.
Yeah.
I mean, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he had a tough first round. He is on fire right now. I expect him to get better. Okay, so I take that matchup. You're gonna have who? You're gonna have that team, Tampa Bay Lightning, continuously wearing on a Trouba, the young kid. The defenseman, what's the young kid, the 20-year-old? I don't even know what
Schneider.
Yeah. Let me just say this, okay? I'm very excited for Tampa Bay's next round because I don't care who wins tonight. They've been fucking mildly beating the shit out of each other. They went 7 games. Who cares? All right? I don't care because Tampa Bay is going to ransack whoever they play in the next round. I want to talk about the last round a little bit, okay? Because Daryl Sutter made a colossal mistake. Connor McDavid is on fire right now. Everyone in the league's talking about him with the exception of Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah.
The kid's playing great hockey. He's playing lights out hockey, right? We get that, okay? I don't understand, and they used to do this, okay? If I'm coaching that team, I'm saying to Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny, I don't need you to score this series. All I need you to do is shut down Connor McDavid. You're going head-to-head against McDavid, and you're going to shadow him, which they used to do. I can't remember what the guy's name was that shadowed Gretzky back in the day. Well, Gilmore, maybe it was Dougie G. I don't. You take your best player who can skate with them, and you shadow McDavid. So anywhere that McDavid went on the ice, Gaudreau follows him, and you shut him down. These NHL coaches have lost all of their in-game strategies. They don't have it anymore. Or maybe it's just a few of these coaches who I personally don't think, they don't know what they're doing. I see no identity from teams. That's why why are you a Tampa fan? Because I love their identity and their structure and the way they play. They have a fucking game plan every single game. And I know when Coop goes in there and adjusts that game plan because you can see it on the ice. Because they roll it over and it's continuous waves of those adjustments. So it's so obvious to you. Nathan McKinnon says, they asked him what about Connor McDavid?
Yeah.
He goes, they asked him, what about the matchup? He goes, yeah, well, that's a great matchup. He said, hopefully the matchup gets more viewers and that lowers escrow. But other than that, I don't care. And everybody's like, it's fucking headlines. So they're going to try and turn this into a turf war, like make Connor McDavid mad that Nathan McKinnon said he doesn't care about him. Well, he doesn't. Nathan McKinnon, did you see the third goal Nathan McKinnon scored in his hat trick last series? The fucking guy went end to end and just like did what he needed to do. He's not worried about Connor McDavid. He's probably thinking, I'm going to go right fucking through Connor McDavid. Nathan McKinnon has that skill set, okay? So that's going to be an interesting series because I said it and somebody sent me a message like, "What? Well, you said McDavid's going to run cold." No, I think they're just going to get drastically outplayed. I don't think that they have a hope in hell of being able to skate with the Colorado Avalanche. Now, Colorado laid a couple of eggs against
St. Louis.
St. Louis, couple of eggs. Mm-hmm. All right, first round they were strong. They might have a few bad games, but I think this goes 5. I don't think it goes further than 5. What do you think?
I think it goes 7. And I actually think that it goes 7 because of the uncertainty in net for both of the teams. But when I've been critical of Mike Smith, you've kind of come to his defense a little bit.
I said, listen, everybody is critical of Mike Smith, but what you have to understand, Let's celebrate Mike Smith. Mike Smith is a career backup goalie. I mean, that's what he is. He's a great backup, right? He's had some opportunities to be a starter, but he's not. You have 30 goalies in the NHL, all right? We're talking about Andrei Vasilevsky. We're talking about Igor Shesterkin, okay? We're talking about the most important position on an entire hockey team, and there's only 30 of them. So yeah, Mike Smith's not a starting goalie. He's playing unbelievable because of that. They're winning games, and they shouldn't be because they don't have a starting goalie. So I do come to his defense sort of in a backhanded way, but we gotta balance our expectations here. Cowboys is a bar in Calgary. They got very inventive. They put 3 big busted blonde girls behind the Edmonton bench. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
It was a good marketing move. They put them in the cowboy hats, and yeah, it got a lot of play. What else do we have hockey wise?
I think the big news that's not related to anybody in the playoffs right now is that Brad Marchand had the double hip surgery this week. He had surgery on both. He's going to be out 6 months.
Brad Marchand had hip replacement
No,
surgery?
not replacement. It was arthroscopic. It's
wow, that's big.
labral repair on both hips.
Yeah, so people get that done in their shoulder a lot too. That's interesting.
34
6
years
months.
old, so you expect him to be able to have a little bit of ability to bounce back, but both hips. That's
yeah, that he'll. I think
6 months. There's a lot of uncertainty there.
I think he misses the season. I think it would be smart to just take this. I mean, who knows whether you get your step back from that. I've never had a hip surgery. That's a next. I've never had an ACL. You know what I mean? Like when you get older and you get those types of injuries, it's tough. It's tough. You come back, but do you come back with that velocity, with that bounce in your step? I don't know. I can't wait. I do hope it's Tampa Rangers. I do, because I want you to see the difference. I want you to see the difference. And I keep hitting this Reeves thing, but if Ryan Reeves is playing 9 minutes a night, you have no chance in winning the Stanley Cup. I'll tell you that right now. You have no fucking chance of winning a Stanley Cup, because as the playoffs move along, the cream rises to the crop, right? To the top.
To the top, yep.
The cream of the crop rises to the top. You eliminate the excess fat, okay? So they're playing against now the best of the best, like Top Gun, okay? It doesn't matter if the other guys on the team are playing lights out. Panarin, which, by the way, he's not, okay? Mika's started to get hot a little bit, but you're also playing against another team who's hot. And when that team goes head-to-head, you have holes now because you have your third line, the kids line, who they haven't done fuck all in the series except for Game 6. Hedl scored 2 goals.
The second you said that about Hedl, he came out and got 2.
I'm bitching about him on the stream, and then he ends up scoring 2 goals. They will head-to-head, third lines against third lines. Tampa steamrolls New York, all right? Fourth line, same thing. How's Cooch going to play? That's a good question. I don't know. But I got a good feeling Tampa comes out on top. And then we've got the other series, which I said, 6 games. So it's going to be fun.
And we're going to cover the Edmonton-Colorado series next, right?
Yeah.
You like to sort of take in your Tampa experiences.
Yeah, it's personal time for me.
Yeah.
It's my personal time. So that's it. We got, and one other thing that bothered me, I saw congrats to Evander Kane. He had a baby, his new son, Iverson. He posts a picture of the kid on Instagram, and he puts a heart covering his face. I don't understand. People are fucking weird. Like, what are you trying to protect the privacy of your baby's face? Well, then don't fucking post a picture of. It's just, Instagram and people are weird right now, and it's an interesting journey. But I like to call it as I see it, and it's just weird, dude. Like, it's your baby. No one cares, or they do care. Or why post? I don't get it. I don't get it. Episode 10, no gruffs given. Spreads.ca. We'll see you guys next week.